As you've heard, one of the great worries many veterans share is that Canada's history of wartime commitment is being lost as more of our soldiers pass on. Well, tonight's everyday hero is a young man bonded in a special way with a World War I soldier who died almost a century ago. These are the kind of battle-tested heroes of most young Canadians, the kind that can blast aliens with a twitch of the thumb. But 16-year-old Lucas Wiseman has come to know a real hero.
He gave so much. Like, he was married, had a job, had 4 kids, and he gave all this up to go over and be with, the local men.
Private Joseph Dunlop was a relatively old 36 when he joined Canada's Army trying to liberate Vimy Ridge in France. It had been a graveyard for many armies, but in April 1917, Canada took it at a heavy cost. More than 10,000 soldiers killed and wounded.
I think all of those, everyone who participated, who helped out, who volunteered, who enlisted, every one of those people were heroes for what they did and how they helped Canada in the First World War.
For the past 5 years, Lucas has studied all he can about Vimy. The source of his fascination, April 9th, the day the battle began, is Lucas's birthday. It is also when Private Dunlop was wounded. And he discovered in an online archive that day had one more amazing significance.
When I found out his birthday was on April 9th, 1880, the same as mine, and the same as the Vimy Ridge assault, which he participated on. It was one of the most amazing coincidences I've ever seen.
But not the only one. The principal of Lucas's school in Canada is the great-grandson of Private Dunlop. Peter Atkinson says few family stories remain of the middle-aged Toronto brewery worker, but in his own way, Atkinson says Lucas is bringing Joseph Dunlop back to life.
I think that there is an affinity between the two, I take us to Colonel John McCrae's famous poem, "To you from failing hands is passed the torch," and I think that's what's happening.
Tomorrow morning, Lucas will march in remembrance, but also to raise money. He's hoping to be one of the more than 3,000 young Canadians dressed in World War I uniform traveling to Vimy to mark the 90th memorial of the battle. The name he'll wear on his uniform, Private Joseph Dunlop.
It's going to be something that I'll remember for the rest of life. I'll tell my kids about, I'll tell my grandkids about.
Holding the promise that the sacrifices of everyday heroes 90 years ago will be bridged by this one. And that is Global National for Friday. I'm Kevin Newman. Thanks for sharing your time with us. Local news is next on most global stations.